Good morning. Get a drum of self. Oh man, I told you I saw Tyrone on TV. Yeah. Good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. I know. Wasn't I just
Welcome back.
over to say something real? But anyway, good morning and welcome for all you folks who 4 hours. I'm gonna look like Jermaine Reed when I'm finished with all of this. But
we trying to do it up, man.
no, I'm just saying, man, Jermaine, and that's a compliment because Jermaine worked hard when he did those 4 hours. I mean, man, but he looked like he did 4. Yeah. I mean, so good morning, everybody, again. So let me do a couple of things, and callers, certainly, you are welcome to the program. Love to hear what you think. So let me shout out this year's WIAA Boys State Basketball Champions, Division I, Wisconsin Lutheran, Division II, Wauwatosa West, and Division III, the Milwaukee Academy of Sciences. Now, I did catch the end of the MAS game. I guess their best player got hurt, and they were up. They were up by 7. And it got pretty hairy that last minute, but they were able to pull it out. And I got to remember, these are high school kids, right? These are high school kids. So shout out to the area schools, Wisconsin Lutheran, Division I, Wauwatosa West, Division II, and Division III, Milwaukee Academy of the Sciences. These are winners of the WIAA Boys State Basketball Championship. And then, man, the NCAA's, we were just talking. So just in case you hadn't heard, Duke did barely beat Mount St. Mary's by 40. It was close. It was close.
Yeah, it was close.
Yeah,
the first tip off.
Yeah, it was close until the game started. And so Devo called me, checking on me. Man, look, I wasn't emotionally invested in that because I kind of knew what was going to happen.
But you know what, Keith? To be honest, man, I was happy that they made it.
I'm happy. They didn't make it to the second round.
The first round?
Yeah, we did. First 4, we did the play-in.
Yeah, okay.
But that was a scrimmage for Duke. And then when you just saw the size differential,
yeah,
and then Duke decided to start the 7-footer, oh man,
yeah, they knew it was over with then because it was almost like a college team playing a middle school team.
That's what it looked like. Hey, and we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit more when we talk about Marquette going forward. Now, that Maryland Colorado State game,
man, that was a good one.
Thought it was over when they hit the shot. 3.7 seconds left when Colorado State went up.
But Colorado shot themselves in the foot because it was a period of time they went on a scoring drop for like 6 minutes, almost 7 minutes,
but they was winning. You see that in college a lot, where these teams can't score for whatever reasons. They just can't score.
But they kept shooting threes.
Yeah.
Like, why won't you go into the hole?
And that kid Lake, who wasn't a kid, he was actually a senior that hit the 3 for Colorado State.
Yeah.
You know, they was just talking about he didn't take a whole lot. So that was going to be the biggest shot of the year. And then we come back, and I have to look to see if this guy, who was it, Screen, whoever, was he left-handed?
No, he was actually right-handed because he shot right-handed, so he dribbled.
No, that was a left-handed shot he hit.
No, that was right.
No, he got forced to his left. It was all left. Take a look at it.
To the left and faded.
No, he did a off the backboard. It was, man. You know, as a coach, that used to drive me nuts. You know the dude is going right. Take right away from him.
But this, again, and we talked about this off the air. The guy, number 15, when you see this guy driving, it's only 3.4 seconds on the clock.
Right.
So if you're dribbling and you come into the hole, you're taking about 2 seconds away. I don't understand why 15 stayed home on his man instead of disrupting this guy's shot and forcing him to pass. If you would have stepped into the driving lane, that would have either forced him to shoot quicker or pass the ball.
Right, because they didn't have a lot of time. Now, 3.7 seconds is a lot of time. But, you know, I think, again, and we're not coaching, but yeah, I and here's the other thing, and human beings are creatures of habit. Your first reaction is to help. So you see everybody guards, everybody sagging. If this team is out there throwing up threes, I think I'm gonna guard the 3-point line. So
Man, I'm looking at that like I'm going to force them to shoot a three with 3 point some seconds left. I'm going to force you to shoot a 3-point shot because, again, when you look at this,
okay, we looking
look
at
at
it.
this play by
Okay,
play.
look at it. Okay.
Okay, so
Here we go. He's
backs
going.
him in. You got 15 open. 15
There's Mr.
takes a
Lake.
shot.
There you go. Bam.
Okay.
Okay.
Now
Game's
watch
over,
this.
right?
Watch this. He comes down.
We're
They
gonna
call
take
the
the
timeout.
right?
All right.
Here we go. All right. Let's go. We coming back from the timeout? Yeah. All right. Everybody's excited.
3.6 seconds
Yeah,
left.
Lake's parents are very excited. Oh, look at that. Number 15. Oh,
so
boy.
you got to think too. On the
biggest
drop,
shot
when he
in the
catch
history
the
of
ball,
Colorado State basketball.
when he catch the ball at top, the clock starts.
I got that. So let's see. All right, they come back. Is this a 30-second timeout? As I sit here and I'm doing my play-by-play.
Play-by-play.
If I'm sitting here, boy, Maryland fans are distraught. Here we go. Oh my God, it's over. Mr. Lake, dude, they're gonna throw a parade for you back in Colorado. Here we go. Boom, kick it out. Ooh, just perfect. Bam. There you go. So here we go. One more time. We're gonna show it one more time.
Man, that was a good cross-court pass.
Oh yeah, that dude's gonna. I think he's gonna play next
he
level.
wants to lead.
Yeah, he's gonna play next level. All right, so we come down. Here we go. One more time. Yeah, they're helping now. Boom. This dude. Okay, here we go. All right, there's mom and dad.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. We're excited. Yes, sir. That's my boy. That's my boy. Look at that, man. Oh my God, dude. They're gonna be loving you. I don't know where Colorado State is. That Colorado Springs?
Denver?
I don't know if they're in Denver.
Okay.
All right, here we go. All right.
Soon you got 3.7 seconds.
All right. So we give the ball here. Oh, he got it left.
Shoot with the right.
Oh, he did shoot with his right.
Yeah, he shot with the right. So that's why I'm like, why 15 didn't step in and cut? If he'd have stepped in, you would have forced him to pass to the wing or to shoot quicker.
So they did play his tendency. They did force him left, but
they forced him left. But he's a right-handed. So even as a right-handed shooter, if I'm driving to my left and I get to that right spot, I can look at the backboard and hit that spot. He shot it off the backboard, but he got to this spot. So what I'm saying is number 15 should have stepped in earlier and forced him to pass. There's only 3-point-some seconds left.
Yep.
So you don't let him get the momentum and then get the shot up. You just watch
him. And he's a freshman.
He's a freshman.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, man. So that's what had me.
That's why they call it March Madness.
Man, I'm screaming at my TV like even Stevie Ray Charles and everybody else could see this one.
Stevie Ray Charles.
It's only 3.6 seconds left. So you got time to dribble and shoot. He already used the option. He caught the ball, so the clock is moving. So me as a defender, I see him coming my way. I'm gonna step in.
That's the time you should help. They've been helping the whole game. That's the time you should help.
Keith, I need to hire you on my coaching staff.
Oh
brother.
Man. So that was great. I mean, I was from noon until almost midnight just watching basketball, man. I watched and everybody know I'm down with the women. And so it was not a lot of upsets on the women's side. And I don't know. You got a couple of 12 seeds though that they're going to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And no one will win this year. The brackets are all busted. They said Kentucky.
Yeah.
Kentucky losing here.
Yeah.
In Milwaukee.
Last night.
Yeah, last night really kind of changed that.
So didn't Iowa State lose to what? Who was that? Mississippi?
Yeah, and I didn't know the Mississippi men were that good. I know the women were good.
What? It was
good.
Ole Miss.
Yeah, women both. They had both men and women,
Yeah.
and there were a couple of squads there that had teams in. Wisconsin just got into too deep a hole
to
come back. And I was pointing this out that when you look at a team like BYU, they're usually older. These guys are 23, 24. It's like Malcolm Brogdon was the exception because He did the 4 years.
Yeah.
Most dudes are leaving early. He did the whole 4 years. So then you're older coming out.
Yeah.
But the thing at BYU is, especially if they're Mormon, they're doing that 2-year mission work, between 18 and 22. So they'll be gone for 2 years and come back when they're older, and so more mature. And look, you're going to see this. The most mature team, physically, age-wise, is probably going to be in the Final Four and probably going to win.
So who do you think that team is?
Oh, man. Who did I like? Houston struggled, but I like Houston.
Yeah, Houston looked good. I want to see Houston play Duke.
Yeah, Duke is going to be a tough out.
I want to see Houston play Duke in the championship game.
Florida.
Florida surprised me.
Yeah, who I had not really been watching, but the SEC was so strong this year. But Florida.
Yeah.
Who else could I? Those are the three that just kind of, just steps out in terms of these are really dominant programs and looking like they're going to go. I was glad UConn lost.
I was kind of disappointed because I think UConn got cheated. I mean, that's just my
Speaking of that charge that they called, I don't know if you saw the end of the Milwaukee Academy of Science game. They called the charge.
I didn't see that.
Oh, dude, it was close. And it was a brother who made that call. And it was right under the who were they playing? They played Freedom. Who had a black player, by the way.
Surprise.
Dude's good. Best player on their team.
Really?
Tall, yeah, he's good. Brown, Davis. Yeah, he called that, man. I'm gonna tell you, those fans from Freedom was not very happy that this brother had called the charge. But it was a bang play. It could have gone anyway. Yeah, that's sports, man. Let me say this real quick. I didn't know this. I hadn't been paying attention. I don't know, all you who you might be following college sports realize now there's this name, image, and likeness. This is basically allowing schools to pay athletes, come in, give them endorsement deals to get a piece of the shoe contract. And Marquette had no one this year in from the transfer portal. They didn't have anyone. And every team that you saw, when you looked at teams, I was really surprised at the number of women who are transferring. They made teams better. As a matter of fact, there's a kid that Mount St. Mary's got, Liscombe, who came through the transfer portal and made that team so much better. So, I love Chaka Smart. I think that there was an article out there that was circulating, like Marquette fans are going to find out what Texas fans found out about Chaka Smart. But Chaka does it by the book. And I think that he's an ethical guy. And sometimes it's an oxymoron when it comes to big-time college sports. It was like, I don't know if anybody remember the Southern Methodist University got the death penalty in football, famously known for Eric Dickerson. And they were asking Eric Dickerson, so did the school give you a car? He looking at them like, oh, you think I'm going to answer yes? So we know that if you're a big-time player, even back in the day when people were giving you under the table, players would sell their tickets, right? And you sell the tickets at an inflated price to a booster. That was always one of the ways that you got money. They couldn't work. And so a lot of ways college athletes were being exploited. I asked this question, though, on Michelle's program about why isn't, for our kids, especially our athletes, and particularly our boys, because women are going to college to play sports, they usually get degrees.
Yeah.
Males go to college, they may or may not get a degree.
Yeah.
Now, people say, oh, it don't make a difference. It does make a difference because you're not going to be able to play sports all your life. There's a shelf life to it. And so it kind of gets us to Junior Bridgman. And what Junior Bridgman was able to do, obviously he had a business acumen. He was, so a lot of that, but taking that Louisville education and, turn himself into a billionaire. And again, if you have not seen that memorial service, you can go to YouTube. Talk about class. Which, have you all seen the video of there was a funeral. The family wrote a check. The check bounced. So the funeral director took the body out the coffin and threw it on a car.
Wait, wait, wait,
I saw that. I saw that
Did you
clip.
see that?
wait, hold on, wait. So there was a funeral that was supposed to happen.
Oh, it
It
did
didn't happen.
everything. I don't know if it ever got to the church. All I know is he took the body out the coffin
Oh,
and threw it on the car because their check bounced.
so he threw the body on the car, or the?
Yes, the corpse.
Oh,
He
my
threw it on the car. So you can see the family trying to jump on him.
Oh my God!
And then in between trying to jump on him and trying to figure out what they're going to do with that body on the car. But
So
yeah,
you got a whole. Never mind. Wow.
because the check bounced.
No, that just blew my mind right there.
So he bounced the corpse off the car because the check bounced.
Oh my God.
And you know what?
Oh my God.
Guess what the people look like?
What?
You and me.
I figured. Sad to say, but
And we was just talking about getting our money.
yeah. See, there you.
We just talking about getting our money, right?
Prime example.
Just talking
'Cause
about,
they'll play you.
yeah, man, just getting our money. But yeah, that oh,
Wait
man,
a minute. So, because I'm still picturing this in my head, and I am rolling on the floor. Y'all just
I'm
can't see.
gonna pull it up and send it to you, man.
Man, please do that, because I'm like,
Debo saw it.
pulled the body out the casket, put the body
Through the body.
through the body.
Now people say, how you ever throw the body? Remember, that's an embalmed body. They take all the fluids out of the body. Throw it on the car
So y'all deal with it.
with my money.
Oh my God.
I might have saved that one. I'm gonna check my phone. I got.
But you know what? But that's a prime example of
What?
You don't pay me, you don't get the business.
You
I mean,
don't play, you don't
that-
play.
I mean, that's just like if you want a pair of shoes, you can't just walk into Foot Locker and say I want these and grab them and walk out without any type of penalty. Like, nah, you got
Now,
to
I
pay
think that
for
there's
it.
probably other ways that him throwing the body on the car ain't gonna give him no money. And I think at this point, even if they weren't gonna make it good after that.
Well, I mean, though he probably knew that they
But
weren't
then I
no
wonder
good
what
anyway.
I wonder what another funeral home didn't take the body.
Probably because they got a history of bouncing checks. You know, Spalding everywhere.
You know, a brother was preaching yesterday, and he brought up a good point about how I know people don't think it's really important. Michelle talks about it all the time. Think about your family.
Yeah.
Get you some life insurance. You know, a $10,000 policy ain't gonna cost you that much, and we ain't have to go fund in terms of being able to take care of. I mean, to be able to make sure. And Michelle says it so eloquently, where it's unfair to your family to try to figure out how to bury you, right? And you know, I mean, it's just
Yeah, and you know that what I really don't understand is for those that that still operate out here in the reckless in the streets, like you hustling and you making all of this money and you riding around with gold in your mouth, gold on your feet, there's gold everywhere, and then you
OG.
die, and then you die, and the family can't get you a casket, they can't pay for nothing because you done spent all your money trying to look good while you was alive. And it makes no sense because what the end game is, or if you in this game, what the end is going to be. There's only two ways. And that's,
well, I think and again, here's this absolute. Guess what? Everybody gonna die. Everybody
way
gonna
or
die.
another.
One, yeah. And
One
guess what?
way.
You gonna be dead. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna get a joke from the dungeon, but I heard this joke my pastor told the church yesterday. And You probably heard it before. But there's a young man, his mama raised that boy right. She raised that boy right. She did everything like a good mama. Just raised that boy right. But just because you raise them right don't mean they're gonna do right.
Yeah.
And so he got to a point where it was pretty bad, and so they're going to execute him, and they're going to give him the chair. And so his mama found out, and his mama called him, or he talked to his mama, and she said, I raised you right, and you know right from wrong. She said, so I want you to go get that electrocution and come back and act right.
Come back. Yeah, good luck.
Come on home and act right after the electrocution.
Good right. Yeah.
Oh man, I guess she didn't know he wasn't coming home.
Yeah, he went home all right.
So anyway, 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Did I get everything? Let me cover a couple of things. Oh, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods.
I am Tiger Woods.
Is kicking it with Vanessa Trump.
Whoa.
Tiger Woods is kicking it with Vanessa Trump. That is Don Jr.'s ex-wife. Now I know him and Trump had a great relationship. But man.
Wait, so Tiger Woods
is
dating Don Jr.'s ex-wife.
Yeah.
What a way to get on the inside. What a way to infiltrate.
Yeah, they got these little shots of them just
in love.
You know what? I figured this out. Tiger Woods like white women.
For real? Like you didn't know? Hey, I almost said no. For real?
I think he really like white women.
Boy.
Oh boy.
Hey,
so yeah,
I mean,
Tiger Woods, that dude.
I mean,
and you know what? I can hate on him now. DJ won't even say his name, but I can hate on him now because he ain't playing anymore. Because Tiger Woods is probably the greatest golfer of all time.
Oh, he ain't playing anymore?
No, he tore up his Achilles.
Oh, so he's out for the tournament thing.
He's not gonna play in Augusta.
Oh, so he didn't retire. He just out.
Well, he's done. He's playing in that tournament.
Yeah,
but I don't know if that's where he tore his Achilles. But yeah, he's out. He won't be playing at the Masters this year.
Well, I guess Tiger feels a chair is still a chair.
He love white women.
Yeah. I mean, a chair is still a chair. Even if there's no black women sitting there.
All right. Just when you don't think that this White House can sink to any more lows, do you know that there is soliciting corporate sponsorships for the annual Easter egg roll?
After doing to put
the
Teslas and all this other stuff.
Yeah, but then he's selling Teslas there.
Wait, he's selling Teslas at the White House?
Yeah, didn't you see last week?
Yeah, when they did that.
He told people because Elon Musk stock is losing so much money, and now people are burning up Teslas and attacking Tesla.
I think Trump, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to say this. I think Trump is somewhat of a genius because I'm going to tell you why. Because he's putting everybody else up front to take the blows, and so he can be like, well, that ain't me. That's such and such, or I didn't do it, and it was such and such.
He didn't sign
exactly
the enemy aliens.
Yeah, and he had
my signature is on there,
and he had blamed it on Rubio.
And here's the other piece of it. He had just said 3 days earlier that many of the pardons that Joe Biden issued were not official because he used an auto pen. And then he comes out and said, I didn't sign it. And you going, well, and then they show it with his signature.
But did you see the one that he was talking about, that he was gonna make for everybody to use battery operated cars and electric cars, and they was like, well, that we wouldn't make any money from drilling and everything like that. So he automatically turned around and said, well, scrap it. We don't want to do that. So it's like almost as if he says and does things instantaneously. And then when he realized that it don't work, then okay, well, let's scrap that. Let's do something else. Like you can't do that as the president. Like you have to have a plan. Like at least know what you're doing before you do it. And this dude is just,
well, someone just reacted to you calling Trump a genius.
I mean, I
Just
used
knew
it
about that. He does all that time. He's not a genius. He's evil.
Well,
Can
listen,
you be an evil genius?
yeah, you could be an evil genius. I mean, look at the cat that created Frankenstein. He was an evil genius. But no, what I'm saying.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Let's get this technically correct. Frankenstein created the monster.
Okay, yeah.
Baron von
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, you right.
He created the monster.
You right.
And actually, that's Mary Shelley who wrote. Do I have a copy of it? I do have a copy of it.
Really?
Yeah, I do have a copy of Frankenstein.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me saying that he's a genius, I'm not saying that he's a good genius.
Evil can be genius.
Yeah, and it's like how he's planning, he's shaping it up as if.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me shout out the good folks there at the New Pits Mortuary. Good morning, Brother Nate Luckett. We got a Hearst and a horse-drawn carriage. Good morning, Deacon Michael Jones. As they make the turn here. Okay.
So yeah, so what I was saying is he has it set up that he don't take the hits. So everybody that he's lining up on the front line, they all take the hits.
Oh yeah.
And then he just stand back and be like, "Well, I didn't do it." Such and such. Yeah, I didn't know that this was going on.
Jermaine who?
Yeah.
All right. Look at this, brother. What? You actually dressed up for this, man? Look at this, brother. Let's make a deal. Look at that outfit he got on. Oh my God.
That kind of look like a cell phone.
It's a vending machine. Carla, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Shalom, my family.
Hey, what up, bro?
You know, Rideout's comment caused me to call in.
What treadmill do that?
Evil genius.
Yeah, he's an evil genius, man.
Pinky in the brain.
Yeah, pinky in the brain. Yeah, exactly. Pinky in the brain, bro. Yeah.
That's Trump and Musk.
Yeah.
But they both are the brain, the evil genius, so they think. This whole day, you taking Michelle's show earlier, that conversation, Meech sort of called in and made my point about the abomination, so I just left it alone. But
what was the point Meech was making?
Oh, there you go.
No, I'm not going back down that rabbit hole.
Digging back up.
No, I'm just when you say that, are you in agreement with him?
Yeah.
Oh, I agree with him. The abomination is written in the script.
Yeah, it is.
We discount science.
Yep.
Abomination is written in the script.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
but I'm asking you, did we discount science?
Yes, sir. Science do not
You know, I think Rideout's point was very relevant too, in that, you know, when you give a person a choice, it brings into the picture this whole piece about how, you know, the natural use of man is being distorted, you know. And see, I sent you a text. You really can't get around it. Your argument refuted your statement.
Why do you say that? Why don't we do this? Hold on, we're on the break. So you want to hold on to after the break?
Sure.
All right. You're listening to Community Voice. We'll pick up with Craig when we come back. We'll be right back.
Donald Trump is out of control, stopping payments for healthcare and food for hungry kids, eliminating the Department of Education, and letting Elon Musk access your most private information. Now Trump and Musk are backing Brad Schimmel because they know he'll let them do whatever they want. Not Judge Susan Crawford. She'll be the check and balance we need to protect us from Trump when he goes too far. That's why we need Judge Susan Crawford on the Supreme Court.
All right, welcome back to Community Voice. Go ahead, Craig.
Earlier y'all were talking about, and I really don't want to go deep into this whole thing, but you made the comment, at least Rideout made the comment about learned behavior. And it seems to me that every time this subject comes up, you tend to, pivot towards science to deflect from what is choice and learned behavior. And so if you say that, the creator made man and woman, and then that science brings in these abnormalities, it doesn't negate that they were still a man or woman. Even if a hermaphrodite, they have, at that point, they have both, of the organs.
Reproductive organs.
Right. But if they live on that way, are there some issues that arise? So that would be an abnormality in science. But that's the exception and not the rule. And the creator in the script gives us rules to live by based on what is the rule, the natural rule. So you make reference to the natural or the nature. Like, here, let me make this one. You make reference to the nature or the natural urges and impulses and that desire for procreation, which is natural. But then the choice comes in as to whether we act upon it.
Right.
Because it's just like a person could have, based on their urges for that, the ultimate urge of the sex act could be carried out with an animal. But that's wrong. It's an abomination.
Well,
and so there's no difference.
And it would
from
also be, can I use this term? It would also be unnatural.
And thus, that's why I say your premise and your argument are that you just refuted it with that statement right there.
What do you mean?
You said it's unnatural to have that thought about an animal. Just
No, not to have the thought. No, I'm just saying it is unnatural for human beings to have sex with animals.
Right, and it's unnatural for a man to have sex with a man.
Why?
Because it's not the natural use of the man. It is a learned behavior. It is a choice. The same way it would be.
So you're saying that your sexuality was a learned behavior?
The sexuality.
Now I'm talking about yours now.
Of it, right. The biology of it is a natural, happening.
Okay.
It's the natural result.
Okay.
What I do with it is a choice and a learned behavior.
Okay, I got all of that, but I'm saying the desire, the attraction, what makes you fall in love.
Part of the impulse and the choices we make from the learned behavior.
So,
sex.
I mean, you just said it right there when I used the example of if that same person said, "I'm going to have sex with an animal."
But
we in our society, we say that is wrong.
Brother
right?
Stingley.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
You too, Keith. Sex was meant for procreation, correct?
Primarily, yes.
I mean, there was
It ain't no primary. That's exactly what it was created for. Was for it to produce.
A man
cannot. No. I would say that's not accurate.
How?
Well,
because the Creator also recognized that we would get enjoyment out of it. That's why He brought the man and the woman together.
No, the fact that we get enjoyment out of it.
Another.
No.
If you ask a woman, and she knows in her mind the pain that's associated with childbirth, and that was immediately there in her mind, chances are she wouldn't have sex. So this idea that desire is so strong that even then it overcomes a lot of things that we do as human beings in terms of conscious behavior, society, influence behavior, all those things. But I'm getting down to who you're attracted to. I'm talking about on a very sexual level. That's part of your biology. Now,
No.
yeah, it is.
It's a learned behavior.
No,
Yeah,
Because I
it's
mean,
learned
you just
behavior.
made
I didn't
reference
learn.
to
I
it.
didn't learn
Women-
how to like women. I just liked women.
and some people learn to like, black women. Some people learn
That's
to like
different.
white
Now
women.
we're getting. But what I'm
That's
saying
a
in
learned
terms of
behavior.
sex to sex,
Right,
gender
and-
to
and
gender.
it is. Oh, go ahead.
My natural inclination is I am attracted to women.
Hey, can
There
I
are
interject?
others though. Their natural
The
inclination
natural
is.
inclination, Keith, is the sex.
Wait,
act.
hold on. Let me try to interject something. So if I join the army, the army strips you of everything that you know and reteaches you. They take the clocks off the wall, so you don't know what time it is. You only know what they tell you because they are rebranding you. They are reteaching you so you can be how they want you to be. You're learning. So what I'm saying is, as a kid, if you're born into a family that you see mama and daddy, to where the mama and daddy was there all the time or part of the time, you're learning that it's natural for mama and daddy to be together.
So are you saying that they're not same-sex attracted people who come from two-parent households?
Let me finish. That is a possibility, but however,
Possibility.
hold on, wait,
It
hold
happens-
on, wait,
It is
wait,
still something
wait.
that
Let me
would have to
finish.
be learned.
Exactly, and that's exactly.
Learn?
Right. Wait, hold on.
Yes, it would
Hold-
have to be learned.
Wait a minute, hold on. That's a learned behavior, and that's why again the scripture tells you have to guard the gateway to your soul, which is your eyes and your ears. Because again, and I'm gonna use me as an example. When I started having sex, it was something I saw trying to scramble the TV in the basement. How you can get those little porno channels on regular cable, but it wouldn't come through. So you know all about it. So this was stuff that piqued my interest to the point that I wanted to start doing it.
So
Wait, hold on.
Just so we're clear here.
Okay.
So when you were watching that illicit material, your
Right.
ass was going to hell.
Yeah.
Um,
Clean, with gasoline draws, Doc. I mean, heavy.
What images were you attracted to?
I was seeing.
What images were
I'm
you
about to
attracted
tell
to?
you. I was seeing, and this is just honest. I was seeing the woman wide open, and
So you were
hold on,
attracted to the woman.
Wait. I
You were
was
attracted to the woman,
Let
not
me
the man.
finish. Wait, let me finish.
Okay.
I was attracted to seeing the woman wide open, but at the same time, seeing what a man had, the same thing that I had doing to a woman, and seeing that pleasure, and it piqued my interest.
Okay, so let me ask this way.
Hey, D-Boy, you better play that disclaimer.
The views and opinions.
Stand
So
up.
let me so let me just be a little bit more direct then in my inquiry.
Okay.
Oh,
I know
man.
where he's going with this one.
Yep. Come on with it.
So who were you attracted to? The guy or the woman?
The woman.
Okay. Why?
And that was because I naturally grew. I'm about to tell you. I naturally grew up seeing mama and pops hugging and kissing.
You know,
This was
kids-
something I saw.
The kids are a break this week,
Mhm.
so I need to be a little bit careful. You know, we start as males. I can't speak for females. We start touching ourselves early.
What you talking about, Willis?
We start touching ourselves early, and then we realize that that's a pleasure center.
Yep.
We learn that.
You headed down my point now.
No. What I'm saying
Go
is,
ahead.
when we
Go
learn it
ahead.
is from the experience of doing it.
Mhm.
But then, when I wanted to get up and have for this
Which is
very,
based on what?
huh?
It's a natural response, right?
Right.
Right. But
It
here's
was
the other
nature
part of that
was
natural
created within
response.
you.
Here's the other part of the natural response. But then there's a young lady, I won't call her name because I have people who went to school who would know who I'm talking about. I was 12 years old. Now, there were girls that I had crushes on. I had never had a crush on a dude. I had crushes on girls, all right? Never had a crush on the dude. So we start with that basic elementary thing. Then you hit puberty. Now you're dealing with sexual attraction. And there was a young lady, I couldn't figure out when she come by, I start sweating. I'm doing all kind of stuff. And I'm just kind of, well, later on, as I did study, I found out because I was sexually attracted to her,
Mhm.
right? It was nothing I could control other
Right.
than my behavior.
Right.
But I knew what I was feeling.
Right.
What I'm saying is that, and it was something when that's Brother Westmoreland that called in, right?
Yeah.
We talk about what we don't have on these airwaves is gay people talking about their experience. So only people who are really having this conversation are straight people. Straight people, and there's something, I don't know if you said it or Westmoreland said it, until you walked in that person's shoes, you don't know what that experience is. And then we will use the Bible, which I think is a very dangerous thing to do.
Why?
It's dangerous because what it does is when we're talking biology, when we talk about something more involved, we're using the Bible. The Bible is a book of beliefs. The Bible is not a book of science.
Wait.
So
So
if you base it on your belief system, that's one thing. The facts might say something that's very different than my belief system.
but this
But,
is the
but if
problem.
you apply
though.
the facts, and even as it relates to science from the explanation you just gave, if you start with pre-puberty, and you say you start touching yourself, whether it's male or female, there's a curiosity there that is prompted by what you have.
But you have not been sexualized yet.
I'm just, that's okay.
Puberty
Then you reach
then
the point where puberty comes in.
Puberty then says I'm a biological adult, and now I'm acting on my sex drive. That's part of being a biological
based on the
adult.
natural aspect of what you have,
But
right?
and
You
right,
still want the pleasure part of it,
Right.
which is what I'm getting at.
right.
But I'm not. I'm
that
going over
ultimately-
beyond the actual sex act. We could talk then about who am I? Who will I? And I'm use this term is really imprecise in this, but I think it's some people. Who am I going to fall in love with?
That part. Okay. So
when you come down to that,
yeah.
But
gay
that's a
people are
choice,
falling
Steve.
in love. Hold on, Craig. Gay people are falling in love with other same-sex people. That's
And
what
that's a
makes them
choice.
gay.
And that's a choice, though, Keith.
That is a
But you didn't
choice.
have a choice over who you fell in love with.
Yeah, I had a choice, but
No,
I
you didn't.
yes, I did.
How
I
you
chose
acted
her.
on it. How you acted on it is
No,
different
no,
than your initial feelings.
No, Keith,
No,
listen,
Keith,
li-
no,
li-
Keith,
listen.
there is a
When
choice.
you listen,
Because
When
there are
you
people
choice
who
on how
choose
you
not to
act on it.
fall in
No.
love with someone else and still perform that act upon themselves.
okay, listen. Prime example of what Craig is saying. You can have a person that love women but experience a whole homosexual relationship, and that's a choice. You choose.
Yes, but
So-
let's go back to the basic elementary thing. Who are you attracted to?
Naturally, you are attracted to what you're supposed to be. If you are a woman, you are attracted
Who's to
to
say?
men.
Who's to say what you're supposed to be attracted
Science
to?
don't outweigh God.
Oh, wait a minute. God created you. God is science.
Exactly. Okay, hold on. I'm glad you said it. God created you, right? And God is science, right? Man cannot understand God's wisdom because our mind frame is not even on the level
Well,
of God's
how
mind
do we
frame.
get into
Hold
God's
on.
mindset?
I'm about to go there. So if God's mindset is way too difficult for man to understand, we having an argument about
Might that then apply to why then
But here,
why
the
then we
nature-
would
the
have gay
nature
people,
of
which
both-
again is only 10%.
it's a choice though.
It's a
listen,
choice
the
on how you
nature of
act
both
on it,
sexes
not
is-
not who you fall in love
No,
with.
bro, it's a choice. If you pull your pants down, it's a choice you make.
Jermaine, let's go back. Think about, and I know you fell in love. You fell in love,
Right?
If you looked,
Right?
people said I was attracted to their personality.
Right.
It was something that you saw, you smelled,
Yeah.
you heard,
Right.
which is a sensual
Right.
attraction to someone else.
I'm glad you said it.
So I am not naturally going to be attracted to men
Right.
because I'm heterosexual.
Right.
Just like there are gay men and women who would not naturally be attracted to the opposite sex.
But listen, but
So
that's,
now how I act on it becomes the issue,
so
not
you
the fact
wait.
that I had this initial attraction to
No,
someone.
Keith. So let me ask y'all this. So you mean to tell me you come out the womb, right? And I'm just using this as an example. You come out the womb knowing that 10, 12 years down the line, I'm gay. I knew I was gay when I was born. I knew that when I came
Have you
out the
talk to
womb.
gay people?
Hold on. Wait, no, I've had conversations with people,
And what did they tell you?
and they said, man, that they knew they was gay when they came out the room, and that can't be possible.
What they're
That-
saying is that they knew that there was something different
No, I know.
about them. When you listen to gay narratives, they will tell you that I knew that there was something different.
But that was something that was
But it
learned,
was
though.
only after they learned.
It was something that was learned.
It was
Then
only
the
after
argument that
they
you're making,
told
the argument
the
that you're making then is
information.
why is only 10% of the people getting that and the other 90% is not?
Well, this is the thing with that, Keith.
What are
When
they
you have-
learning that's so different than the other 90%?
Again, going back to guarding the gateway to your soul. If you see it and hear it, and I'm gonna use this again as an example.
Well, you haven't done, you haven't done math.
Wait, hold on. Now, I was brought up in a Christian home. I mean, man, pop's a pastor, mom, first lady. We in church every week, right? We in church every week. We going to church every week. It was a choice I made by the music I was listening to and the music videos that I was watching
bladed it
that
up.
I wanted to be
You
a
bladed it up
gangster,
music?
that I wanted to be in the streets. Yeah,
Was
because
it-
Tupac
what's that
had
have
me
to-
riding around.
What does that have to do with
It
you?
made me.
What,
It was
what does
the-
that have to do with you falling in
Hey,
love with Kathy?
Hold on, wait, listen. No, I'm using this as an example.
Could you explain to me how you fell in love with Kathy?
Exactly, I'm about to.
Was it the
It
music?
was something I saw.
Oh!
It's the gateway. It's the gateway to my
What
soul.
did you see?
It was. I saw her. I saw something that intrigued my spirit.
But then,
Again, it's the gateway to your soul.
but you didn't fall in love with Keith.
Because I'm not intrigued by you.
Why aren't you intrigued by me?
Because that's not in
Because
my
you don't have,
nature.
you don't have same-sex
It's
attraction.
not in my
Oh, it's not
nature.
in your nature.
It's not in my nature.
Exactly.
Being intrigued by you is something that's learned.
Exactly.
It's a learned behavior.
No. What I'm saying is, but when you talked about Kathy, you
Because it was natural.
Oh,
I didn't
so
have
then why
to be
wouldn't
taught
it be?
that.
Why wouldn't it be natural then for the gay person then to have that attraction to another?
Because it's a learned behavior.
Kathy wasn't a learned behavior for you.
Because it's natural. Just
So
like
why wouldn't that be natural for them?
just like
No,
on the
it was a learned behavior. He still
it's
had
a
to
learned
learn
behavior.
what.
He had to learn how to act on it, but the existence of it, the existence of it, Craig.
No, you still have to learn what to do with the opposite sex.
Exactly. And there was something that I saw that taught me what to do when I get with the opposite sex.
But here's
and
the
she
thing.
ain't got no
Here's
clothes
the
on,
thing.
and I ain't got no
The
clothes.
fact that you wanted to do it with the opposite sex is what I'm talking about.
That's
Not how you did
That's
it.
the nature.
Oh, that's nature.
That's nature.
That
So,
is
but
the
10% of the population doesn't have that same nature.
And then they learn by making choices.
No. But answer my question. So 10% of the population does not have natural
They do.
desires.
No, they still have
they
the
do.
nature. It's
They
the
do.
nature.
Oh, so it's the nature then.
To do it.
To do what? To be I'm not talking about actually having
No,
sex.
to-
I'm talking about who you fall in love with, Craig.
So this is what I'm saying. Listen. What I'm saying is this. You said the natural occurrence
Of falling in
being
love.
human. No, of being human.
Okay.
Human. This is humanity.
And sexuality is part of our
We
humanity.
have a natural inclination to procreate, right? Because we exist that way.
Right.
Now, when that part comes into, when life is created, it comes with that.
Hey, Craig,
Yes.
I know you have kids. So let me ask you this question. For the most part, though, when you lay down to get down, were you laying down to get down to have kids?
I think it's
Yes,
wrong.
once I decided to have children.
But I'm just saying, as a general rule, when you lay down to get down, were you laying down to get down to have kids?
You was laying down to release the
Prior to that, wait. Let me be specific. Prior to wanting to have children, it was about having sex.
Yeah. Okay. It's about releasing.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, the primary reason for us having sex,
It's to release.
What's for the pleasure of it?
no, to
Yes,
have
to
children,
Keith.
to have children.
The whole purpose was
No,
to have children.
wait.
The whole
You-
purpose
no,
behind
your
was to have
question
children, of
was,
course.
Prior to
And listen
I
to
had
what his
children.
question is.
Prior to getting to the place where
Exactly.
I wanted to have children,
Exactly.
it was about the pleasure of
Exactly.
having sex.
And after you had kids, it was about the pleasure of having
And
sex.
that's my argument, that it doesn't change.
Okay, so what I'm
That-
saying
the
is,
choice that you
but
make-
if we're saying that the
changes is
primary
choice you
reason,
make
the primary reason for us having sex is to have children.
to fulfill your pleasure desire.
Okay. Well, I'm not. I wasn't looking trying to make no babies. Now maybe some of y'all was. I wasn't.
Well, I think that the whole thing behind having sex is to be pleasurable. The results of having sex is children. That's
Well,
that's
but
what
see,
can
that's
this
the
is why I
consequence.
think when
That
we
ain't
were
no-
No, it ain't no
talking
consequence,
about
man.
that,
Come on, bro.
both of those things were
That's a
given by the
consequence.
Creator.
consequence.
Wait. See, you misunderstanding something. Both of those were given by the Creator,
Exactly.
so that they will have a desire to be together as well.
Exactly.
When the script says that that the Most High brought the woman to the man, so he would know that he didn't have a mate within those animals.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is where that desire for those two to be together was created. And in the procreation, they had to do this in order for them to survive.
Exactly.
I wasn't trying to make no babies.
Well, we know that. That's the impulse. That's you. Again, you're making my point.
No, but I'm saying, but
A choice.
I said the primary reason though.
That was the.
That ain't the choice we exercise when we decide to have sex.
Wait. Keith, Lee said to you, that's the lust in us.
Or you
Call it
what you want to call it. All I'm saying.
Pull out game strong, brother.
You wanted the pleasure. And
You call it what you want to call it.
Wait. Then your choices were to get that pleasure with a woman rather than with a man, or rather than
But
with an animal.
emotionally, now you talking about a physical, but emotionally, I might not get that same pleasure if I'm a gay person having sex with a woman. Let's say I'm a man. I mean, I'm not going to emotion because it is emotions attached to our whole sexual interactions with each other.
And that's still a choice.
No, how I feel ain't necessarily a choice. All right.
See,
All right,
I told you I really didn't want to go down there,
I'm
but
glad you did, though, man. You listen to Community Voice.
Boy. Keith,
I make no babies. That's why we react the way we react when we get that phone call.
I just want to shoot up the club.
Right. You know,
I want to shoot up the club.
The
I'm the
views and
pappy.
opinions expressed on this show do not
I'm the
necessarily
pappy.
reflect those of the staff
I'm
and
that baby's
management
pappy.
of this
I'm that baby's
station
pappy.
or its advertisers.
we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM with your host, Keith Parris.
Wow.
Well, thank everybody for enjoying the program today. You just we up out of there. Like, we done?
Where'd that come from?
Yeah, man. I thought I had another hour. Okay.
Oh, he's like, nope, not today.
Hey,
Today.
we up out there.
This dude here.
Hey, that's called Monday energy right there.
It's either that or that
Dude,
baby
I'm the one
champ.
that's supposed to be, all discombobulated. But, you
Hey man,
but
it's
you
either
sit for the
that.
folk too.
Yeah, it's either that or that baby chimpanzee that's gonna jump on your back and sing you up out.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm going to go and pull
I
up
get the
my,
monkey up off.
Gentlemen, we have company. We have company.
You know what? I got the book of cliches.
She finally caught it. Like, wait a minute, huh? Chimpanzee.
Well, no, I was just like, really?
Yeah, get that monkey up off.
But I got to pull up my book of cliches to see where "Get the Monkey Off Your Back" came from.
Yeah, because I've been using it for years and don't know where.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I got to go in some of these origins of cliches, but get the monkey off your back.
Yeah, I got a whole heap of cliches.
We're doing the studio by State Senator Dora Drake of the 4th Senatorial District here in the state of Wisconsin. Hey,
Hey, good morning, Keith.
long
How are
time.
you?
I'm doing very well. Long time.
Long time no see.
Welcome to WNOV.
The last time we're still throwing you off, huh?
Jeez.
Let's see that monkey. So how are you? You finally got sworn into your new position. I knew at one point because of some numerical things,
Yeah.
you didn't immediately assume
Mhm.
the position. You did win the special election
Yes.
to finish the term
Mhm.
of Senator Taylor, and then you then won the regular
Yes. Mhm.
election. So you are now officially.
The senator. Well, yeah, and obviously, I always give kudos to obviously now Judge Lena Taylor because she has served the seat for quite some time. And so, one thing that I want to make sure I'm diligent in is one, obviously, thank the folks that put me in the seat, because it's one thing to ask for your votes, another to get the people's trust. And I think right now what we're seeing nationally, people are reaching out to the state to ask for help. And this is just sort of like a general overview of some of the updates that's been happening at the legislature. Right now I serve on the Committee for Judiciary and Public Safety, as well as Health, but I'm still the chairwoman for the Legislative Black Caucus. And we have seen the headlines of obviously a lot of the attempts of dismantling services and programs from the federal government, specifically President Trump and Elon Musk. And so we've been getting calls about people being scared what's going to happen if their Medicaid is cut off, or with the recent news, the Department of Education with this on executive order. Folks have to understand that there has to be a congressional approval for these things to actually occur. But nonetheless, people are rightfully still scared, because we've been having conversations with different stakeholders on, are the services going to still continue? Obviously, we've seen offices of Social Security and the veterans sort of shut down. And so that makes it harder for folks to get access to resources. So in terms of things that we're pushing for, one, we want to make sure that people know that with our state budget process, obviously the state can't dictate what's happening at the federal level, but we can dictate what's happening with our state budget. We have a surplus, and there's an opportunity where, should there be any fallout of what's happening nationally, that the state can step in and really provide be the support, for folks here. And so there is a public listening session that the Joint Finance Committee is having, and it's actually April 4th, which is a Monday, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Wisconsin State Fair Park grounds. And I know it's during the day, and obviously it'd be great if they could have extended it, but we want to make sure that people knew that it was happening. It's here, in our area, and people have a chance to come and speak out on the things that they want to make sure that we as a state are pushing for in our state budget this year.
Is LaTanya Johnson still on Joint Finance?
Yes, Senator Johnson is still on the Joint Finance Committee.
Let's, we hear this, the fear factor is real
Mm-hmm.
in terms of government. And it's really funny how people can be so critical and down on government till they need it.
Right.
Now, in reality, the Department of Education does not have direct administration of the dollars that they send to the states, right? It's up to the states then to.
Well, yes and no. So with their Department of Education, they don't dictate everything that's happening in our state. We have a Department of Public Instruction that does that. However, if you're talking about Title IX funding, such as special ed education or different programs and supports like school meals and reduced lunches for children, those are things that would be have oversight from the federal government and the Department of Education. So, and let me just break it down. Last week, President Trump, signed an executive order saying that he's going to eliminate the Department of Education. That cannot happen unless there is congressional approval. So it has to go through the process in Congress to overturn that. However, should that actually be successful, then what that means is that our Department of Public Education, which is also DPI, and there's an election too, I want to make sure folks are aware of that, would be essentially the gatekeeper of whatever funds or resources that are available. And we know that our public schools serve lower income families, children that need access, not just education, but all different types of issues and resources. And something that I've been hearing day in and day out from all different school districts is the need for special education, because if the state filled in that gap, then we'd be able to provide the actual resources that children would need to thrive in our schools. And frankly, I believe that our school districts are tired of asking, and taxpayers are tired of having to pay referendum just to ensure that these resources are provided, because it won't cut anymore. And so that's the concern, that should the Department of Education at the national level be overturned, not only will our state have to step in and fill in the gap, but just historically, the Department of Education nationally was established because people were not ensuring that Black children were getting access to resources. And so then the federal government had to step in to ensure that those rights and services were provided for us.
I think so. When we talk about these programs, the Title I special ed, either Title IX in higher education, in terms of what that looks like in discrimination in sports, that's under the department. Now, it looks like what they're doing is just moving certain portfolios outside of, and I don't even know if they can even do that legally, because those services were mandated by Congress to the Department of Education. I understand this administration doesn't have a problem with litigation.
No, they don't.
So then they'll go into courts, but this, so it becomes important. The other thing is, and this is really Wisconsin, is one of these states, the defunding or underfunding of public education with these alternative school systems, i.e. charter and choice. And under Project 2025, which a lot of what we're seeing was highlighted, outlined in Project 2025, one of those things. So why is, when people say, oh, like, here's what Republicans will do. Say, oh, we spend billions on education and it's gotten worse. It's not a question of money, but how that money's being
used,
and the systemic things that contribute.
Exactly. And frankly, the state does not do its fair portion of funding public education. We don't. It's because when we spend, and I will rely on my colleague Sarah Johnson for this, but we spend way more on our budget for Department of Corrections than we do for our children. And so we are not doing our portion, and what we're doing, or not, what is as Democrats, obviously, we're pushing for direct funding for our public schools districts to ensure that they get the resources in their hands. With Republicans, if you're just saying, oh, we're going to do this, that, and the other, you're not actually putting money directly into the pockets of where it's needed, like increasing teachers' pay, ensuring that we increase the reimbursement rate for special education. Those are policies that would actually provide support and resources, not just to our children, and ensuring that they have access to those programs, but on the federal level too, making sure that regardless if, you had something to eat or not, as a child, you should be able to study and learn and not be distracted if you're hungry, And so those are the things that we know work, in our schools and for our children.
Because even when there are rural school districts
Mhm.
that are suffering.
They are.
And when you look at the proficiency rate,
Mhm.
now I would think that a state where, let's not be so, I won't be so pejorative in my thinking, but in a state where Black people only make up 5-6% of the population, you would think, the issue is with urban school districts, primarily Milwaukee. That's not the case.
It's not the case.
The kids are failing. They have failing schools in rural districts.
Yes, they do.
Now, a lot of that is probably the resources that go into education.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what it is. So, and what we're hearing from, obviously not just here in Milwaukee, but statewide, is the issue of referendums. I believe that almost every county in Wisconsin has had to go into referendum to ensure that, the schools can get just enough to get by. And we're not talking about, enough to last, we're good for 5 years. No, they're literally just at the mark of like sustaining, and anything can happen to where they wouldn't be able to operate the way they need to anymore. And so when, one thing I heard on the doors was, taxpayers saying, look, we want to invest in our schools, but obviously it's increasing our property taxes. And so I don't think it's right. I commend, obviously, us knowing that investing in public education is important, which is why referendums passed. What's a problem is when the state isn't doing its part. And that's where we need to step in and actually do our part, just as everybody else has been doing.
Yeah, I think we have lost the commitment to education that we had immediately following World War II, where now this whole idea that we had the Cold War, and so we certainly weren't going to let then the Soviet Union better perform when it comes to education, and then certainly in math and science. Those became the things because of technology and war technology and all those pieces. But when I hear the argument, which I think is a rather specious argument, it's like when you talk about anti-poverty programs. We put all that money in it, and it's kind of going light because these are stopgaps. It's called subsistence, which means it's not making people middle class. There are other systemic things out there that we have to deal with. Let me just, on a local level, I think the problem is so much worse than what's being reported right now or has been identified, but the amount of lead in the schools. And I asked the question, maybe it wasn't that big of a deal, but I asked the question, said, when we're getting all these COVID dollars, wouldn't that have been an opportunity to then go in and clean up these schools? Every school got a new marquee. You drive by and they all got great signs, but here we have this danger, and we do know the impact of lead on cognitive abilities.
Exactly.
And it's probably one of the reasons why our kids are suffering is because of the exposure to lead.
Well, and you're right. And, I will commend Governor Evers, because one of the things that he put in his budget that I was really happy that he did was a large investment of resources to do lead abatement, especially in our schools. And to your point, obviously there's a larger conversation just happening here about accountability, and we need that too. And I believe there's a path where we can still hold, obviously, people accountable for what's been done or not done. But in the same breath, there's still a very real attack on public education, and our children will suffer the worst for it. And so there's still the need to ensure that there's not just investment in education, but to your point, making sure that as a state, we're doing our part, and making sure that, as Governor Evers shared, it's time to invest in our children. And that's not just with schools, it's the lead abatement programs. It's ensuring that there's enough mental health counselors in the schools. And frankly, that there's enough funds and resources necessary for programs to ensure that our children are successful.
So if we're, if that money is block granted, I guess, to the states, who would have control over how that money is spent? Is it the governor, or would it be the legislature?
So if it's a block grant that for Department of Education, it will go directly to the Department of Public Instruction. So the legislator or the governor doesn't have direct access to it. And that's why I said our Department of Public Instruction really is going to be the.
Great segue. Great segue.
For well, it just is.
The-
It's
the
because
DPI election. Yeah.
well, yeah, and I know people are tired. Well, no, let's just be frank. We don't have an option to get tired at this point. And I say this because it's important to rest, yes, but it's also important that we're staying abreast of what's happening. We see things are happening. And frankly, what's happening with the headlines, that is a strategic attack to ensure that you just have chaos and people either get tired out or tuned out and say, you know what it is what it is. I don't care. We can't let that happen. Just this past Friday, well, actually, I was notified yesterday, but I didn't know. Wisconsin has a minority development business center that closed their doors Friday, and I just found out yesterday. Yes, and so our office is obviously looking into, what's happening, reaching out to obviously our congresswoman, our US senator about what's happened, where did this come from? And as you see, it's being strategic, also getting people riled up, not just on Medicaid, Department of Education, but really pulling people apart. So in that way, we miss things that are happening. And so the reason why this election is so important, early voting has started, by the way. So either vote now or by April 1st, is because whoever is um, oh gosh, the superintendent, there you go. The superintendent for public instruction will really dictate how those dollars that are coming or not coming from our federal government will be implemented and allocated to our school districts, where programs, accountability measures will be implemented. And at his core, protecting our public schools in the best way possible. And that's just one of them. We have the Supreme Court race, and you mentioned the courts, and it's clear that the things that have been the saving grace has been the courts, Congress, and, folks, constituents like you and me that have sharing their stories, because those shares that we get inform us of how we can implement and push forward. We need to. Oh, we need to take a break. Okay.
We good?
Yeah, we're good.
You're listening to Community Voice. We're joined in studio by State Senator Dora Drake. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Celebrate the return of spring at the Milwaukee Art Museum's Art and Bloom event happening April 3rd to the 6th. See floral installations inspired by artworks in the galleries and vote for your favorite. Enjoy the celebration after hours at the Floral Fashion Show or the Bloom Bash. Visit mam.org/bloom.
on WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM with your host, Keith Parris.
All right, welcome back to Community Voice, and we're joined in the studio by State Senator Dora Drake of the 4th Senatorial District here in Wisconsin. We're just talking about some of the things in terms of you talked about the DPI race.
Mm-hmm.
I just got this number, $100 million in the state Supreme Court race.
Yes, and if that is not,
But that's on both sides. Let's be fair.
it's on both sides. But I gotta say this too. You know, when you have an elected official that's literally just causing chaos, let's just call it what it is. Elon Musk doing it, and then just recently, President Trump endorsing Brad Schimmel. The Supreme Court and the courts should have always been a place where it is nonpartisan. And the fact that it has gone to that great lengths, I think one shows, again, I mentioned earlier that one of the things that have been one of the saving graces throughout this whole, let's just call it chaos, is the courts. The courts were stepping in and issuing court orders saying, no, this memo is not legal. You cannot cut resources, and they have to abide by that. So the fact that they are willing to go to such great lengths and stay invested in our Supreme Court race, I think it's frightening. And frankly, as Wisconsinites, and I think I'll comfortably say this, we are very territorial because we love who we are, and we stand up for like what, we represent hard when we go outside of, Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Why would we let someone outside come and try to dictate who we elect for Wisconsin Supreme Court race?
So just on both sides, George Soros is also investing a whole lot of money. And obviously, you appreciate this. I wish we had the Bill Proxmire days where the only money he ever spent was filing his papers. He never, but that's not the world we live in now.
Right. It's
With
not
television
anymore.
and all those different things, and with Citizens United, all that soft money, all that dark money, that's, again, on both sides. So just to be fair. But there's something else going on here with Elon Musk that people don't realize why he's investing so much in Wisconsin. Currently, he's suing the state of Wisconsin on this whole idea about dealerships. And
yeah, I can talk a little about that. So Tesla is a company, and well, I used to like to. So I think electric vehicles. Well, I mean, look, electric vehicles. I think it's a great idea. And prior years, there's some legislation where Tesla as a manufacturer, you cannot set up shop due to some certain parameters. And so the fact that he is filing a lawsuit regarding that, again, it's concerning because, again, I personally don't want to have an individual billionaire who says, I'm not going to have my way. I just want to do whatever I can, whether it's investing in a Supreme Court race so there's an opportunity to overturn our fair maps to ensure that he gets his way, or to push a lawsuit because he's losing business. There are people that are not buying his stocks anymore, or letting go of his stocks, or not purchasing his cars because of his character and his actions that are taking. If you want to address that, then you need to address how you're operating and what you're doing with Doge, not the other way around, where you're coming to Wisconsin, filing a lawsuit to have your way, and again, believing that your billionaire status is going to be able to ensure that you guarantee a win in Wisconsin. And I just think that's wrong.
and maybe we're sleeping on it. Maybe it's something you started off with. Maybe we're dealing with a certain level of political fatigue. You just look at what has been done in the first 2 months of the Trump administration. Feels like 4 years.
It has, and I will say it's not just in because prior to being elected as a senator, some of the state rep for 4 years, and what I think I'm experiencing, as well as many of my other colleagues, a shift has happened. We know that there's still issues that people have talked to us about, like reckless driving, or new issues like cryptocurrency, where we have to address it at some point and provide education around that. But at the core of it, people need to know that they're being heard, that they're listened to, and that they're being fought for because of what's happening nationally. And as legislators working with everybody, different stakeholders, groups, and obviously hearing from the people that we represent to ensure that we're working together because there's always strength in numbers. And history has shown that when people show up in numbers, that change can happen. And I do believe that we can ensure that Wisconsin is moving in the right direction by going to that ballot box either before or on April 1st.
As a Democrat,
Mhm.
part of the anger now in these town hall meetings, these congressional town hall meetings, is equally directed at both Democrats and Republicans.
Mhm.
Republicans for what Elon Musk is doing, and that Democrats for Democrats not doing enough in people's mind.
Mhm.
Now, I don't know when you were at a numerical, like I was going back and forth on whether it'd be a good idea to shut
Right.
down the government. And
Mhm.
then what concessions would you get? Because now it's going to come down to who's going to be able to react.
Mhm.
And the Republicans at this point had the high ground like the Democrats did in the past when
Right.
government shut down and say, hey, the Republicans shut down. So I understand that political calculation. Schumer's going to have to deal with that piece of it.
Mhm.
But there is this anger out here. So can Democrats do more?
I think we can. And I say that because, there are obviously I know at the federal level, we know people obviously were pretty upset with what happened with what Schumer's decision was. I heard about it, I've got calls about it. And I, I say this thing in terms of in terms of making difficult decisions, knowing I really do think that we're at a constitutional crisis of what's happening nationally, right? So in terms of what Democrats can do, yeah, I think we can fight harder. Now, realistically, just so we break it down, there's a numbers game too that's happening here. The Republicans have a trifecta at the federal government. They have the presidency, they have Congress, and they have the Senate. And so recognizing that, what does that look like for us as Democrats? One is standing with our constituents and what they want us to fight for. And we're getting asked to fight for Medicaid and keeping folks Medicaid safe and not having any cuts to it. It's ensuring that children get the resources they need, whether it's through the Department of Education or ensuring that our veterans are supported. And so when it comes to moving forward, I do think it's a harder conversation as Democrats, recognizing that, yes, we know this is a numbers game. And here in the state legislature, even though the Republicans have the Senate and the Assembly, we do have a Democratic governor. And I will say in the Senate, we in 2026, Democrats will have the majority. And we were playing for that and we were so excited for that. And so it's a matter of ensuring that when we're continuing to show up, we still are hearing not just what folks are sharing with us, but staying alongside with them. And I think that's maybe where the disconnect is happening.
But it seems like 2026 is so far away.
It does.
Based on what we're
No,
experiencing right now.
I feel you. Look, I know because I get the calls too. But this is where I'm talking about that political fatigue. Everything that the Trump administration is doing with the constant headlines, constant, changes, and, honestly, their threats to programs and services, we as a people need to ensure that we stay focused, knowing that, okay, we know what our, non-negotiables are. We know what our values are, and we just stand on that and we stay focused in that. And in this time too, being okay with taking a step back too, is because it's one thing to constantly be going nonstop, but when you're constantly going, that's how you get fatigued, and then you're just like, man, I've done my part and I'm done with it. We can't afford to do that anymore.
No, you're right. The fatigue is to the point now that because so much money is being spent on the both races actually, for DPI and then for the Supreme Court, I just turned the channel. I don't want to see another Shimo commercial. I just turned the channel, and I think after a while, people are feeling that. But what was surprising to me was this past November in the city of Milwaukee, we had high voter turnout. It didn't feel that way, maybe because so many people had early voted. That you didn't see the lines, which was so if you try to handicap this, the turnout in Milwaukee will be important, but I think the turnout in Dane County is
It will.
probably going to be the thing.
It will, because Milwaukee, to your point, like we showed out and we did our part in the presidential election. We did, and I think we just did. Um, but Dane County, I know is probably going to have to be one place where there has to be higher turnout, and even the Green Bay area, we've been seeing that there's been increased voter turnout too for Democrats, and so when we say it really is all hands on deck, it truly is that. And maybe another way, especially folks are feeling tired, fatigued, and just feeling either I don't know what to do, I just want to turn off, get plugged in. There's different organizations that focus on different issues that you might care about really passionately. And so, obviously, first step, knowing who your electeds are, your alder, your county, school board, state senator, state rep, like you should know who those folks are. So when things are happening, share those with us because we don't know everything. And I just shared earlier on the show that I didn't know that, a strong entity that supports minority Black owned businesses, their offices was closed, right? So not only sharing that with us and knowing who we are, but plugging into an organization that you care about. I know Social the Polls is focused on, voter outreach and voting rights. Or if you get involved with Planned Parenthood, which focuses on abortion and reproductive rights, there are different groups that are doing work where you can say, I know I want to do something, I just don't know what, and I'm tired and I'm fatigued. Going to those groups because, in those organizations or even people that we meet, there is strength in being around community too.
As a voter consumer,
hmm
I don't know, and I'm a male too. I don't know if the how do you think this message around protection of reproductive rights and abortion rights is it resonating with people?
It is, it's and I know that, and we just have to be honest about it. It was not a winning issue that we thought was gonna, get Kamala Harris the presidency. But what I will say is that people are still concerned about it. And just because it wasn't a winning issue, that doesn't mean people aren't talking about it. Earlier not this month, but last month, I had the opportunity to go to, sort of a listening session with some of the providers at a Planned Parenthood clinic. And we got to hear from the providers, people that actually receive services, and their stories brought everybody. Well, I was teary eyed, but you can sense the raw emotion that was there because people really are concerned and scared, and they want to share with us that it's still important. And so, and this is why I share that issues are important for a reason. And I think given, we're going to talk about DEI benefited white women the most. And so there is an attack on women too that's happening currently, whether people want to acknowledge it or not. And so still ensuring that issues that are impacting people, we still should speak power to that.
Yeah, I think that's the piece of it that's kind of missed. And I was listening during the national election, and finally you had some people say, stop blaming Black folks.
Thank you.
White women. White women. That white women are very reliable Republican voters, sometimes voting in against their own self-interest. And maybe if you're a white woman outside of childbearing years,
right,
maybe abortion doesn't resonate as much with you. But if you're a woman in childbearing years, it does have impact.
Yeah. And I will say this too. I know faith comes in play and part of that too, right? People's different beliefs and faiths. And I've always shared this too, like, just as a believer as well. We obviously have our beliefs, but when it comes to policy and legislation, if the goal and focus is to ensure that, people have the ability to have a holistic life, feeling safe, getting the resources they need, education, healthcare, all of that, then those are things that we should be pushing for. But to your point, yes, Black folks have come up time and time again. And we have been the ones that have always been standing in the gap. And I think last year's election said that pretty loud and clear. And so, I do think there has to be more conversations of what that looks like in terms of turning out not just Democrats, but just folks that tend to at times vote against their own self-interest and figuring out what that looks like to move forward.
Well, I think that faith does have an incredibly strong role.
Right.
in it. We just spent about an hour arguing back and forth about this idea: should it be faith? Should it be science? But it's a, especially around the access to abortion. That, in my mind, is a uniquely female discussion. And I do, as a voter, maybe indirectly might have some impact on it.
Right.
But the people who are more directly impacted are women.
They are.
And I think people are thinking that it's about abortion, but it's not even about abortion. A lot of times it's further than that the woman has access to contraceptives. The one thing about the introduction of contraceptives is that it has really empowered women. You can choose now when you want to have a child. We were joking when you first came in. We had this whole discussion.
We sure were.
About this idea that many of us, but to be able to do that, and I'm just amazed at America, the most sexualized country in the world, yet you have these counter-currences to, we sexualize everything. We sell beer, we sexualize it. I mean, and then you tell people, oh, but, and it's going, you can't have it both ways.
Well, you can. And at one point we used to, schools had enough resources to provide sex education in our schools. Now, just personally, do I think that the family should obviously lead those conversations? Absolutely. But we have to recognize, we have to recognize that not every family is different. And so if we're serious, I will say this, if Republicans are serious about trying to prevent abortions, then you should provide allow the education resources necessary so people can stay informed and empowered in making those
and change
decisions.
The systemic things that's contributing to
Exactly.
people making a financial decision.
Exactly.
Because the very people who will say, you need to take this child to term are then the very same people who cut programs that's going to benefit that child once the child is out. I mean, you have in Republican mindset that the thing in the womb has more rights than the person outside the womb.
Yes.
And that is troubling to me. But
and you just I have to speak about postpartum, because we know that mothers do not get the support they need, especially if you're on Medicaid. And so literally, this is a bill that has bipartisan support, and Speaker Voss is the only one that's standing in the way. It is a bill that would extend postpartum services from, I believe, 30 days to a year. And this is, and this will include coverage for folks that you're on Medicaid. So that means you would have access to get the support services, because not every pregnancy is different. Every woman and pregnant individual goes through that differently.
And the postpartum experience is real.
It is. And so when we're not taking care of that mother, then the child is impacted and the family is impacted overall. And so, again, to your point, if Republicans really wanted to ensure that we were protecting the family, so to speak, you would provide the resources and policies, not just to address the systemic changes, but ensure that people got the health care that they needed.
Talk about the, once again, the public listening session.
Yes.
The joint finances have.
Yes. So again, and overall, so our state budget we determine the state budget every 2 years. And so the Joint Finance Committee, that's the committee that handles all the money, for the next 2 years. They're having public listening sessions throughout the state, and they just announced it. There will be one in the Wisconsin State Fair Park grounds from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on April 4th, Monday. Please show up. And I know that there are different groups that are already, organizing, and I encourage you guys to do so. So in that way you get there, and I encourage you to get there early too, because I heard if you get there like at 10 or 11, you may not have a chance to speak because so many people come, but still come and register, because they have to keep all those slips that people write saying this is what we want you guys to vote and put in our state budget for the next 2 years.
And I know you're encouraging people to vote.
Yes, vote by or on April 1st. There's a Supreme Court race, a DPI race, as well as local judges as well. I'm trying to think in the
the Constitutional.
Yes, in the constitutional amendment. I want to make sure. So voter ID, we already have that in our laws. There is an amendment on the ballot where you would be asking, we want to enshrine it in our Constitution. Mind you, voter ID laws just make it a little bit harder for folks to exercise the right to vote. So I encourage everyone to vote no on or by April 1st for the constitutional amendment.
State Senator Dora Drake, thank you.
Thank you,
We
Keith.
appreciate you coming in.
It's good seeing you as always.
All right, thank you. Now let's go all the way back. Let me thank Alyssa, Courtney, Janelle, and Senator Dora Drake.
Oh, that was your whole run of show today?
I've been here 4 hours.
Oh, you better
Woo! Ooh, I know
thank
you've had a
everybody,
day.
all the callers. Thank you. Hey, the good Lord willing, and I get up tomorrow. Hope to be here. As always, go from this place in peace.